Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. For our topic today, Gabe will be sharing with us how his daily practice of gratitude adds profits to the bottom line. Again, as always, we appreciate you, everybody who tuned in today, and enjoy the show. Good morning, everybody.
There was always a ton to learn. So I have a question for you today. What is the first thing that comes to mind for you when I ask you, what are you grateful for today? Take a minute and just think about that. Oftentimes, for me, I know over the years, I was not always intentional about really thinking through and calling out the things that I was grateful for. And so my perspective was not, really focused on the things that really mattered to me and that I really wanted more of. And gratitude is something that has made a massive difference in my life and to my bottom line. And I think, if you're getting into this for the first time, you might have been like me and thought, you know what, gratitude, yeah, great. Of course, we should be grateful. Like you kind of blow it off. Or if somebody said, oh, like you can manifest what you want in your life, you can think about it, you can attract the things you want. When I first heard that, I thought it was bullshit. I didn't think, that actually worked. I was like, man, these people are crazy. I don't know why they're telling me to do something that sounds insane. But I fortunately was willing to give it a try. And I'll always remember something that my friend Ryan Shute said to me one time. He said, people can never, and I don't know if he was quoting somebody, if it was him, to be honest, I forget, it was a while ago, but he said, people can only do what they imagine themselves doing. And that really stood out to me because it's something I'll say and share, probably multiple times on the show here, because it really hit home and I realized that's true. Like when we're young and we're observing somebody else doing something, we're thinking out through, how am I going to do that? Whether it's going fishing for this first time, playing baseball, walking up and talking to somebody new, or drawing something, building something, whatever it might be. We have to imagine how we're going to do that before we're even willing to try it, because we have to think through, what are the steps I'm going to take? Am I going to be nervous? Or, what's the reaction going to be? We start to envision ourselves in this role. And when we think about gratitude, it's the same way. When we practice daily gratitude, it's helping us imagine the positive of the things that can come into our life. And so that's the first thing. Every day, part of my morning routine is I have a list of things that I'm grateful for, and I read them out loud to myself and I make them part of who I am. And things I say are like, I'm grateful for, the folks on my leadership team growing into amazing leaders, because that helps me see that potential in them. It helps me encourage them in that and bring them out of that, bring those skills and things out of them. One of the other things I say is I'm grateful that our delivery team grows in excellence every day. And I've been saying that for a year and a half. And sure enough, the delivery of what we put out there for our clients just continues to get better and better. And if I don't imagine myself first doing that, if I'm not practicing being grateful for the things that are going to come, then it's very easy to allow the noise of, the media to, discourage us. It's very easy for the noise of today's challenges, or a challenge coming up or something breaking or not going well. If those are the only inputs I have, it's so easy to have my world shrink down and become negative and closed off. And then all of a sudden I can come into a place of bitterness and just struggle. But if instead I tune my mind, I tune my spirit and my heart and just my whole focus into being grateful for the things that I want, it's easier to spot those things. And once you spot those things, there's this process that happens, and it helps us just identify the things we're looking for. If I remember correctly, this term, like mentally or kind of like in psychology, is called the recency effect. All of us have experienced this. If you bought you got that new yellow car or a new red car, or you bought the latest iPhone, or you got something new out there, all of a sudden you see all these people that have that new thing. Or if you got the latest, shirt from your favorite band, you will go to the show and you'll see everybody wearing that show because you now have awareness for it. That recency effect is what we kick into play when we start practicing gratitude and we say, I'm grateful for this because of the result it's going to give me. That's how we imagine what can happen. And then because we're focusing on that, we're reinforcing that. And it helps us spot those opportunities, spot those things that we want to have more of in our life. And they're always there. There's always good things that are coming to us from the universe, from those around us, from, our higher power who's giving to us. But we can't see it if we don't open our mind to it and we don't shift our focus there. So that reinforcement on, looking for those things ends up reinforcing positive behavior that creates more behavior. And that's the positivity that makes problem solving easier. And that's one of the easy things that makes our businesses more profitable. Because if we're looking for those positive things, if we're saying things like, I'm grateful that I'm an excellent decision maker because that helps me grow as a leader, or I'm grateful, that I have this deep and rewarding relationship with my partner or with my kids. When you start from that place of gratitude, it opens up your imagination, your creativity, and it helps you find ways to act upon those things. And so when you create that habit, it makes it a lot easier to spot opportunities, to invest in your team, to achieve the things that you want to achieve because you're open to them. Whereas if we're just shut off to those things, it reminds me of, I lose track. I think I have 14 nieces and nephews. And the youngest is, I think he's 8 months. The oldest is going to be 12, I think. There's a pretty big span. But in their younger years, my son was like this. My nieces and nephews go through this phase. All kids go through this phase. But in their younger years, when they're like 3 or 4 or 5, there's this stage where they just get stubborn about things. And it's part of developing. It's totally normal. But I'm sure if you've ever interacted with a toddler, or even just somebody that's, 5, 6 younger, if they get stuck on something or get upset about it, they are just completely upset, or they are totally hooked on an idea and you can't talk them out of it. They're closed off to seeing anything else. You could offer them 100 different options. And if they want that one toy or that one, sweet that they're looking for, a piece of candy or something, or they want to watch that television show, there is nothing else that you can break through to them because they are so stuck on that idea. And while that persistence and that stubbornness and like that total focus can be an asset, it's definitely something that we can cultivate and make a positive thing. It's an example of in that moment where their mind is closed off to it, that it doesn't matter what you offer, you could offer them the best thing in the world that's 100 times better than what they're fixated on, and they will ignore it, they won't see it, and they won't be able to move forward. That's how we are as adults. We're the same way. If we keep feeding our mind with negativity and we don't focus on gratitude, then we narrow our focus and we get this tunnel vision. It doesn't matter how good of an opportunity comes our way. It doesn't matter who reaches out to us. It doesn't matter what happens in a project or anything that's going on in the business. If we have negativity closing off our vision, then we can't expand and we can't find better solutions. The opposite is what I want to encourage you to do. I want you to just consider writing down a list of maybe 5 or 10 things in this format that my friend Andrew Kapp taught me from his book, The Last Law of Attraction Book You'll Ever Need to Read. It's a phenomenal book. It's one of the first books I recommend when I'm coaching people in business, but he has a simple formula in there where he says, write down what you're grateful for and put a reason behind it. So, as an example, one of my daily, gratitudes that I say is I'm grateful that our delivery team grows in excellence every day because this allows us to serve our clients at the highest level. And so just by being open to that, I can see possibilities. I can find ways that we can deliver better results. I can find efficiencies that help us and help our clients. And all of those things ultimately trickle down to the bottom line and they help us be profitable and successful. So my encouragement to you today is start practicing daily gratitude and use that formula of I'm grateful for X because of this. And it'll just reinforce those things in a positive way in your mind, in your life, in your business, in the relationships that you have. And it's going to yield really positive results. Tomorrow on the show, I'm excited to talk to you about our first guiding principle, relationships first. And it ties into what we're talking about today, because if you're grateful for the relationships you have, you can really maximize them, you can invest in them, and you can achieve amazing results. So again, today, my encouragement to you is take some time to write down the things you're grateful for and the results of why you're grateful for those, and even be willing to be grateful for things that haven't yet happened, because that's going to open up your imagination. It's going to open you up to have those things come into your life. So I hope that's useful to you today. Again, just thank you for being part of the show. I'm grateful for you being here today. It means the world to me, and I look forward to having you on tomorrow's show.